Hello, today we are going through the top 10 worst ever PlayStation 2 movie tie-ins. Up first we have Shrek the Third.
Then the only person standing in your way is you.
Me?
Get him, lads! Yeah!
Shrek the Third was released on a whopping 8 platforms, and unfortunately the PlayStation 2 version was the worst of the lot. This game is a perfect example of developers doing the bare minimum. PlayStation official magazine say, "It just nicks the best lines from the films, reminds you of the bits you liked, and then carries on quietly, being incredibly average." In 9th place we have Transformers the Game. Michael Bay's first Transformers film seemed to divide critics. However, there was no doubt about the PS2 game being a lazy cash grab.
If I cannot defeat Megatron, you must push the cube into my chest.
GameSpot say, Transformers the Game is a big, loud, shallow action game that severely lacks in content. In 8th place we have RoboCop. When the game was released, the last RoboCop film had been RoboCop 3, released all the way back in 1993.
Police officer, no loitering.
This game has awful AI, repetitive missions, and worst of all, RoboCop moves at a snail's pace. Game Reactor says, the worst video game since Superman 64. A game made by the same studio. Up next is The Incredible Hulk. 3 years earlier there had been a Hulk game, Ultimate Destruction, which featured free roam gameplay with no restricted movement. That, however, was a good game. One-ups say, Ultimate Destruction was on the PS2 as well, but it still had a beautifully rendered, detailed city that was a blast to wreak havoc on. This game is a weak attempt at mimicking it. In 6th place we have Spider-Man 3. The game is very loosely based on Spider-Man 3 and, to its credit, expands on the film by including additional characters and plot. However, a bad game is a bad game, and the PS2 version was criticised for being technically inferior to other Spider-Man games on the console that had come before it. PSX Extreme say, Spider-Man 3's biggest problem is that it has a camera and frame rate that makes the game nearly unplayable. In 5th place we have Fight Club.
If this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight.
The dark and dreary world of the movie looks even more depressing within this soulless PlayStation 2 fighting game. Gaming Age say, either a really clever parody of licensed games or one of the worst things you've ever had to play. In 4th place we have Bad Boys Miami Takedown. For reasons unknown to anyone, the game is called Bad Boys 2 in Europe and then Miami Takedown in the US.
I want you to know if this is our last job, I really appreciate you, okay?
By far the worst thing about this game is the horrendous controls, closely followed by a cover system that simply doesn't work. IGN say, featuring enemies that enjoy ducking behind objects that leave their heads exposed, or magically appearing from an empty corner of a room.
I'm impressed. She's real sweet.
In 3rd place we have Catwoman. The film now plays like a sexist superhero parody.
But somebody killed me. And I've got to find out who.
And the game isn't much better, featuring the most oversimplistic combat system we've ever seen. Gaming Age say, the story is bland, the game is short, the controls are iffy, and the camera is laughably bad.
Now suppose you wanted to hide evidence that a new face cream was loaded with toxic bacteria.
In 2nd place we have Beverly Hills Cop. this game is baffling.
Stakeout? No. I'm picnicking. This is like a picnic area.
Not only had there not been a Beverly Hills Cop movie since 1994, but when they made a video game adaptation, they ignore everything from the trilogy and replace Eddie Murphy with a generic white man. GameSpot say, the action is very slow and very poorly designed. Most of the graphics look like the Nintendo 64 could have handled it. And so we reach number 1, what is the worst PlayStation 2 movie tie-in? It is in fact Charlie's Angels. Travel to various badly designed environments, perform an extremely limited list of martial arts moves, and battle an even more limited list of ridiculous looking enemies. G4TV say, pointless level design, sloppy controls, and graphical glitches galore. And GameSpot say, this game serves no meaningful purpose except to rob you of your time and money. One thing we do like about this game, however, is that the developers named every single enemy. If only they'd put that much time and effort into the rest of the game. Let us know in the comments if you agree with our list, and thanks for watching.